Hello, my name is Tracy Allen and I want to welcome you to Cooking with Some Friends. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Cooking with Some Friends. I'm making some Swedish meatballs for supper, and we're going to have that over some egg noodles that I cook. But I've done a couple of things ahead of time, or I have to do a couple of things ahead of time. I have a cup of breadcrumbs that I placed in 3/4 cup of milk and a 1/4 cup of half and half, and I'm letting that set, and it's firming up quite a bit. And then in my bowl, I have a pound of ground pork and a pound of hamburger that I'm going to mix with some seasonings. And in my seasonings, I have, let me look at my thing so I don't miss it. I have allspice, nutmeg, garlic powder, parsley, and salt and pepper. I'm gonna mix those with it. And I have some onion, and you can use up to 1/8 of a cup or 1/4 of a cup if you really, really like onion. I'm gonna put that in, and then I'm going to put in 2 eggs, and I'm going to mix this, and then I'm going to let this mixture sit for about 10 minutes before I add the breadcrumb mixture into it. And you can use a spoon, or you can just dig in and use your hands and mix them up. I don't want to overmix it, I just want to combine them so the egg gets mixed in. And so the pork and the beef are combined. I'm going to let that set so the spices can do their work before I add the breadcrumbs in. I've got my water heating for our egg noodles. I've got my pan out to make the sauce. I've got the sauce ingredients out. I've gone ahead and put the breadcrumbs that I had in the milk and the half and half into my meat mixture. Now I just have to mix these together, and then I'm ready to form the meatballs, put them on my parchment covered tray, put them in a 400-degree oven, and I'm going to bake them for about 20 minutes. And while they're baking, I can be making the sauce. So I just want to make sure this, you don't want to overmix again because you don't want to make the proteins tough in the meat, but you do want to make sure you get the bread mixture mixed together. The size of the meatballs can vary, but you're going to try to make it about them each about 2 tablespoons. I think I have most of the breadcrumbs mixed in. Okay. So you could even use your scoop if you want to, or you can just make them and roll them and put them on your sheet to bake. And I'll continue this process and then put them into bake. So now I'm ready to make the sauce that goes with our Swedish meatballs. So in my pan, I have a 1/2 cup of butter that I've melted, and to that I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of flour to make a roux. I'll mix that in and let it cook for 1 minute before I add anything else, like you do with all roux. You cook at least a minute. If you want a dark roux, then you cook longer. And my egg noodles are cooking. My meatballs are a little over half done. So to this, I'm going to add 2 cups of beef broth and about a teaspoon of lemon juice. And then I'm going to let that cook for just a few minutes. And then I'm going to stir in my sour cream, a little bit of mustard and salt and pepper. Okay, so my beef broth. About teaspoon of lemon juice. Stir those in. You can see it's a light brown sauce already. Then I want to put in my sour cream. And that's 1 cup. Just a dash to a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. And then some salt and pepper to taste. So I'm going to stir this and let it cook on medium to medium-low until it thickens. Then I can add those meatballs once they're done cooking and then serve this over our egg noodles. Now we will have Swedish meatballs. Hello everyone, and welcome to Cooking with Some Friends. We're doing another crock-pot meal, and this one was shared with me by a good friend of mine, and Sherry said it's a comfort food for them, and so she calls it comfort food chicken and noodles. And it's very simple. I have a little over a pound. It calls for a pound of chicken breast, but I had a few extras, so I'm going to put those in my crock-pot first. And to that, I'm going to add a mixture of 2 cans of cream of chicken soup. Guess I could have taken these out of the cans while I waited. And Sherry said that they like to serve these noodles over mashed potatoes, so you can do those. She also said that you can add a bag of frozen vegetables if you want to. We're going to have a different vegetable on the side, but and to that soup, I'm going to add 30 ounces of chicken broth. I'm going to mix those together, and I think I want to use my whisk. This takes 6 to 7 hours to cook the chicken, and then another 2 hours once you add the noodles. But you could actually reduce that time by slicing those chicken breasts thin, and that way they would cook that much faster. Okay, so I have my mixture of soup and broth, and I'm going to pour it over my chicken. And then on top of that, I've cut up or sliced up 1 stick of butter, and I'm going to put that over the top. And then I'm going to let this cook covered on low for 6 or 7 hours, or until I can shred up that chicken. Okay, we're back and we're ready to finish up our comfort food noodle, chicken and noodles. And so I've taken the chicken out of the soup mixture after about 6 hours, and it was super tender, and so I shredded that up, and I'm going to add it back in. And I just used 2 forks to pull it apart. And then I have a package, a 24-ounce package of Ream's frozen noodles that I'm going to pour in and stir this in. Then I'm going to put the lid on it, and I'm going to cook it another 2 hours, stirring it pretty often, really, every so often, until it's done. And then when it's done, we'll serve it over some mashed potatoes and have a vegetable on the side. And when my friend gave me this recipe, I was wondering about, because I make homemade noodles, and I think I could probably use my homemade noodles. I haven't ever tried it yet, but I think I could use them. I would just probably decrease the cooking time in that 2 hours. So from that 2 hours. So again, I'm gonna go ahead and cover this, cook it on low for 2 more hours, and then it should be ready to go. Thanks for joining us for this session of Cooking with Some Friends. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And find us on Facebook at Cooking with Some Friends.